Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I should say good afternoon now. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Standing Committee on International Trade and Quarantine technical session. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I should say good afternoon now. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Standing Committee on International Trade and Quarantine technical session. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I should say good afternoon now. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Standing Committee on International Trade and Quarantine technical session. Good morning, ladies. Can I say now? Well, we have a bit of hiccup because this is our first time we live YouTube as well as we want to share this session to those who cannot join. So may I ask if the backstage is okay? If it's okay, can you raise your hand so I can continue? ข้างหลังโอเคไหมคะโอเคค่ะ Okay, they said I can continue now. All right. I'm sorry for the delay in the session, but may I just start without further ado? We have the chair and co-chair of this session. The chair is Dr. Marianne Sayok. She's the member of ASC Standing Committee for International Trade and Quarantine. She's also the president of the Philippine Seed Industry Association and public affairs lead at East West Seed. Also, may I also introduce our co-chair for today's session, Dr. Sumitra Gantrong. She is also the member of ASC Standing Committee for International Trade and Quarantine, and also TASTA Committee and ASC Executive Committee member. So without further ado, may I hand the microphone to our chair and co-chair. And may I invite Dr. Sayok for the opening remarks.
Thank you, Kuna, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. The room is too big, so I hope if people can, come a bit forward, that would be fine. But welcome to the meeting of the Standing Committee on International Trade and Quarantine. It is a pleasure to open this meeting on behalf of the chair of the committee, Michael Leader, who unfortunately cannot join us today. I'd also like to welcome our participants who are joining us online. So welcome to the meeting. It is so nice to see familiar faces and even new faces after seeing you only on screen for the past 2.5 years. So, so let me start with sharing with you what the committee has accomplished in the past 2 years when we didn't have a physical meeting. So if we can have the, I have prepared 2 slides. Can we put them on screen? But okay, I hope they could catch up. So the ITQ committee is composed of 9 members from various seed companies, as you can see later on from the screen. There are 3 stakeholders who are actively engaged with the committee, and they are from CropLife Asia, ISF, and APARI. So there were 4 meetings in 2019, 8 in 2020, 6 meetings in 2021, and 5 this year. So I am pleased to share with you the major accomplishments of the Standing Committee on International Trade and Quarantine. Our policy advocacy efforts include working with the Indian seed associations on the office memorandum relating to re-export of seeds. We also submitted a joint letter with ISF and SASTA to the Department of Agriculture, Thailand, reiterating the seed industry support on lab accreditation and e-phyto. Finally, the DOA has announced to include e-phyto and lab accreditation in the Gazette. We will hear more about this from our resource person from the Agricultural Regulatory Office of the Department of Agriculture later. We also submitted a joint letter with ISF and the Philippine Seed Industry Association regarding the post-entry requirement of insecticide treatment on imported seeds, which led to the amendment of such requirement. On capacity building, we got approval for a grant from the Standard and Trade Development Facility to harmonize the phytosanitary standards through an enhancement of public-private partnership in the region by collaborating with APARI, ISF, ASTA, and CropLife Asia. The program will support 7 participating countries like Bangladesh, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, Nepal, and the Philippines in the conduct of a pest risk review following ISPM 38, e-phyto, lab accreditation, and a portal for public and private seed exporting countries to get all information about import conditions. Lastly, in August this year, we have successfully organized the 8th phytosanitary expert consultation attended by NPPOs from 15 countries in the APEC region. For today's meeting, we have an impressive lineup of speakers from our partner organizations, ISF, from FSII, and the World Benchmarking Alliance, who will give us updates on some important issues related to the seed sector, like seed health, phytosanitary compliances, and public-private partnership for enhancing seed trade, global view on policy and position from the seed sector on the much talked about plant breeding innovations, and enabling environment for seed sector development. But before diving into these technical topics, we will hear from a representative of the Board of Investment about investment opportunities in Thailand. As you very well know, Thailand is one of the most successful countries in the region for attracting foreign direct investments due to a consistently good business climate. So without further ado, may I call on our first speaker, Mr. Patipol Kornkamonpruk, Senior Investment Promotion Officer of the Board of Investment of Thailand. You have the floor.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Madam Ariane, and also the APSTA and TASTA to inviting us for this very wonderful event. Since we have a COVID-19, and this is my second time on the stage like this to present the opportunities to investment in Thailand. So before today, I actually have about 4 topics to tell you about Thailand and give you the information that would be very useful for you. But before I go to my presentation, let's see some video clip presenting about Thailand that we have been made for you. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we are starting descending to the International Airport.
Welcome to Thailand. Here, we can insulate your business and prepare you even better through a well-developed ecosystem that empowers you to adapt to an ever-changing world. As a key player in global supply chains, we can keep your business agile even under extraordinary circumstances and safeguard you from supply shortages. And here, you can tap into our strong and diverse value chain to thrive in advanced industries. Located at the heart of the ASEAN region, Thailand's world-class infrastructure for road, sea, air, and rail. And the development of high-bandwidth submarine cable systems make the country a strategic distribution hub and perfect international headquarters for businesses linking Thailand and the region to the rest of the world. Get connected and get inspired. Thanks to innovation infrastructure that nurtures investments and breakthroughs from research and development to commercialization, helping your leading-edge ideas start, grow, and succeed. Not only that, global talents are drawn to Thailand by the country's friendly working environment, vibrant lifestyle, and high standards of living at a reasonable cost. Complemented by a local talent pool with diverse skills, this competent workforce is easy for business to access. With an eye for a sustainable future, the kingdom builds on its ecological advantages to embrace the circular, green economy, paving the way for green businesses. This is in line with environmental, social, and governance initiatives and a global trend towards renewable energy, eco-friendly packaging, and low-carbon production. On top of a business-friendly environment, Thailand, through the Board of Investment, offers a suite of benefits for companies and assists them with a wide range of facilitation programs. We make it easy to invest now. All these advantages that Thailand offers reassure the security and continuity of businesses even in challenging times. No wonder there are countless reasons to invest in Thailand.
Okay, let's go to my first topic of my presentation. So when the investor want to invest in invest abroad and want to go to another country, the first thing that they have to look and to consider whether that country is good enough, has has a good infrastructure, or what is the economy look like, right? So if you can see in this picture, there is numbers that show that Thailand, we have almost 70 million in population, which is quite a medium market place, for the investor. And our GDP is actually more than CLMV, our neighboring country combined. Since we have the COVID pandemics around the world, so every country that had effect on their economics. And since last year, we have a strong rebound, not only in the export growth, but also in the FDI that come and invest in Thailand. As you can see that in 2020, we have about almost 20 billion as a value of BOI application. So according to our BOI database, you can see that the top 5 FDA countries, the first one is Taiwan, because they invest heavily in electronics. The big company called Delta Electronics actually invested a lot in semiconductor and also many parts of PCBA. And the number of projects is also increasing significantly during the pandemic, is almost gone now. And as you can see that Thailand, we are, sitting very hard of ASEAN. And since we have already implemented about 13 free trade agreements, and the investor who actually coming and invest here, they are actually enjoy our 13 FDA that we already executed around the world, especially the RCEP, which is stand for Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is also a proposed agreement between ASEAN country, which the investor will have the free trade and zero tariff if they want to trade between the ASEAN country, 10 ASEAN country. And you can see that the number of the export volume is actually increased more than 30% among under the 13 free trade agreement. It's not going. And the second topic, I would like to introduce our board of investment. Our board of investment is actually under the office of the Prime Minister, and we work under the Investment Promotion Act. And our policy, we provide incentive to the investor, and we actually divided our incentive into two main incentive. One is the tax incentive, and the other one is the non-tax incentive. The tax incentive that we have, that we providing to the investor, is the tax holiday, which is between 3 years to up to 13 years now. And we also provide the incentive on the exemption on import duties of machinery as well as the raw material. The other side of the incentive that we have providing to the investor is, and they are the non-tax incentive, which we actually trying to facilitate the foreign investor like you guys. If you want to come and invest in Thailand and you want to purchase a land, actually under the land code, in Thailand we are not allowed. And especially very recently, the Thai government, we are trying to pass the law to give the permission for the foreigners to own the land, to own the house and own the land. And we just, the government just have to reconsider whether they have to give this regulation to pass the parliament. But with the BOI, you don't have to worry about other laws because you are actually working under investment promotion law. So you can actually own land if you get the BOI. And we also have no restriction on the local content requirements. And if you want to get the work permit and visa, you can actually come to our one stop at very center in Bangkok in Jamturi Square, and you can just go there and have it approved within 3 hours. So this is how we providing the incentive to the investor. We have one is actually the standard incentive, which are we providing through the activity base. Let's say if you want to invest in the seed activities, you will get the same benefit throughout country. Anywhere you want to locate your office or your factory, you get the same incentive up to 8 years. And we also have the technology base, which we concern on biotech, nanotech, agricultural tech, and advanced material tech, which you will be receiving 10-year tax holiday. Apart from the standard incentive, you will get the additional incentive in case if you have some spending or expenditure on research and development, or you have some cooperation with the universities And also, if you have some spending to help your employees to have their advanced training, you will get additional incentive. A part of that, we also have the area-based incentive, in which we have so many special zone. EEC, Eastern Economic Corridor, is, for example, if you located your factory or your office in our designated zone like EEC or Special Economic Zone around the border in Thailand or inside the industrial estate, you will get the additional incentive, from the BOI. And last but not least, we have the agenda incentive. And the agenda incentive is that we are trying to encourage the investor to have the adaptation on their machinery to be the automation, and also if you going to have the investment to put some solar rooftop on your factory and have the energy conservation, you will be also get the additional incentive, from our agency. And this is the example of our standard incentive. We actually dividing into two groups of incentive. The first one is A group. The second one is B group. The A group would be receiving the tax holiday, which ranging from 3 to 10 years, and the B group won't get the tax holiday. And most of the incentive, you will be receiving the non-tax incentive one. And this is the incentive scheme for the productivity enhancement. Like I said earlier, if you have the adaptation of the automation machineries, you will have the additional incentive from the BOI. We also have the and if you also have the investment to use of renewable energy like the solar rooftop, you also get the additional 3-year tax holiday. And the investor who eligible under these categories, if you are the BOI promoted company and you already spoil your tax holiday, I mean your tax holiday has already been expired, and if you have more investment in the scheme that I show you on this slide, you will get the additional incentive. And even if you are not the BOI promoted company and your activity is actually comply to our list of eligible activity, you can also request and you can also get the approve, from us as well. So since I am here at the SEED event, I have a little bit of information on the seed industry, but what I have been searching for is we have a plant breeding activity, and mostly they are located up north in Thailand. And the project that we that I have combined together, and they are BOI promoted company, is about 4 million baht in Thailand. Besides that, we have a huge investment in the project in grading, packaging, and storage of plants, vegetables, fruits, and flower around Thailand, but mostly in the eastern part and in the center of Thailand. So this is the samples of the Thai companies in seed industry. We have, of course, we have the Pacific Seeds. We have the Royal Projects. We also have the Xian Thai, which maybe is the co-organizer here as well. And we have many big names in the seed industry, which you may already recognize. So this is the example of our eligible activity in the seed, in the agro and the food industry that we are promoting. Not only the agro and food that we are promoting, but we also providing activity that is in the high value services like trade and investment support office. We also trying to promote international business center, which is trading activity can also apply under these categories. Since the world, we are concerning a lot of the carbon emission, and our Thai government, we are trying to focus on adopting the BCG model for the sustainable development in Thailand. We think that BCG will be a Thailand main economics base, and also generating a lot of GDP over the next decades. And actually activity under the BCG within the BOI, we also prioritize them, and most of the activity under this biocircular green economy will be receiving the maximum incentive from the BOI. You can see that the key enabler of the BCG economy model in Thailand, since Thailand, we are the agricultural countries, and we have the abundance of biomaterial. So we have the capabilities to diversify the biomass, and we have the biomass power plant around nationwide. And we also have a supporting science and technology infrastructure. We have a science park not far from Bangkok. We have the EECI, the Innovation Park in Chonburi. And we also have the Foodnopolis, which is like a food industrial estate that we are providing for the investor like yourself. And above all, we also have the incubation center throughout this science park. And as you can see that you have the unlimited opportunities in the BCG economies, and a lot of activity under this BCG module. And like I said earlier, you will be receiving the maximum incentive under this BCG. For the investment, in any activity in Thailand, our government, we are not only try to push the investor to just keep investing, but we also have to develop our high skill workforce as well. So we have implemented our high skill workforce development platform, and our government together with universities in Thailand, like top university in Thailand, we have the platform which is we going to upskill and reskill the workforce. We also have the industrial training center gathering around the industrial estate in Thailand, and we try to produce more than 10,000 engineers per year, and also the 10,000 scientists per year as well, that we are trying to cope with the trend of the industry that we are going to. BOI, we are not only providing incentives, but we also have the units, which we call BU unit, the industrial linkage division, which we also have the service to do the business matching. We also have the sourcing team, in which if anyone or any investor would like to get some raw material, get some parts and equipment, in any type of industry, we have a very big database which we can also provide you the right contact for you to connect with your sourcing partner. And we also organize some international exhibition, and we actually have the event every year, which is so-called Subcon Thailand. We normally organize during March, during May every year. And this is the new scheme for our long-term visa residential, which is just launched in September the 1st. And we are trying to make Thailand as the work paradise. And we try to convince and encourage the wealthy global citizen, wealthy pensioners, working from Thailand and the highly skilled professional to come and to get this long-term visa scheme. And the benefits that you get from this scheme is that you don't have to get the work permits, and you will be exempted from the ratio of 4:1 employees, foreigner to Thai, and you will have the 10 years visa. 10-year visa, for this long-term visa, so you don't have to like report yourself, every year, something like that, and you can go to the fast lane at our international airport as well. So this is our one-stop service, which I just mentioned from the very beginning. We actually trying to consolidate many related government agency into one roof. We are actually, paying the rent, and you can get the work permit and visa over there because we have the immigration, we have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have the Ministry of Labor. We put everyone in one roof, and you can get the visa and the work permit very efficiently. And we also provide the consultation service over there. If you want to get any license, like factory license, we can get the Department of Industrial Works to work very closely with you. And if you want to get your company registration, we can contact the Ministry of Commerce, Department of Business Development, to be assist with you. So this is the our service at the one-stop service. And since the last 2 years we been having the COVID event together, and so BOI, we are trying to digitalize ourselves, and we have so many platforms that you can actually don't have to come to BOI like before, and you can actually do it online. Even from the start, if you want to apply the BOI, you can apply online under your name. You don't have to even have to register the company yet. You can apply online, and once you get approval, you can also get the interview before you get the BOI approval online as well. And once you get the approval and you want to utilize your incentive, everything is now is online. So it's very convenient for the investor, from now. So that would be in my presentation. But before I finish here, I would like to welcome you to Thailand, for the investment. And since today we are at the seed event, so I would ask you to put your seed in Thailand and grow together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kun Patipol, for the very informative presentation. Now we understand why Thailand is really one of the most attractive countries for foreign direct investments. Since Kun Patipol did not finish his time, the time allotment, we have time for 1 or 2 questions. So if there is any question from our friends, from the audience, please, we have microphones in the middle of, any question? Okay, seeing none, I think it was a very clear presentation. So thank you very much once again. Thank you. Okay, so we move on now to our next speaker. I mentioned that the committee is really very pleased that the subject on e-phyto and lab accreditation in Thailand has been really quite intensely followed up, and we got good results. So to talk about e-phyto and lab accreditation in Thailand, the updates and way forward, may I invite Mr. Chaisak Ringluen, Senior Agricultural Research Specialist of the Agricultural Regulatory Office, Department of Agriculture, Thailand.
Okay, ครับ สวัสดีครับ Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for coming here today and online today. I'm very pleased to be presenting to you today about my presentation. We would like to talking about the e-phyto project in Thailand. Today, we would like to talking about the scope, how to design the e-phyto system, how to link with the trading country. And I will start with the e-phyto project overview and the progress first. And then I will talk about the e-phyto certificate requirement for seed health laboratory accreditation. Okay, first of all, I would like to give to you about the overview of the e-phyto project in Thailand. The development of the electronic phytosanitary certificate or e-phyto system initiated from the Thailand e-government. We call the 4.0 policy, which is a key aspect to bridging the development gaps by enacting ICT-enabled transformation of the government services to increase digital coordination across government agencies through the national single window in Thailand. We call the NW. And Thai DOA is effectively developing its e-phyto solution as well as connecting to the IPC hub for non-ASEAN country. All ASEAN single window through the national single window of Thailand to facilitate the exchange, the e-phyto certificate with National Plant Protection Organization or NPPO worldwide and beyond in the ASEAN region, maybe in this year. So this slide, we need to talking about to assist the importer or exporter of Thailand through improved business environment via such as electronic phytocertificate system. The aim for digital government into the context to business competitiveness is to address this via electronic channel. We have a lot of agency. The joint supporting agency are as follows. The first one, we would like to talk to the National Bureau of Agricultural Commodity and Food Standard in Thailand. The second one, we would like to thank you about the Custom Department and National Telecom of Thailand. And the last one, GSS, is a GSS based in Bangkok in Thailand. And the last one again, Department of Agriculture in Thailand. So Thai DOA is the National Plant Protection Organization or NPPO of Thailand issue phytosanitary certificate for the consignments of plant products or other regulated articles. The issuance phytosanitary certificate for export and the re-export consignment as are set by the first one. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So I would like to talk about again the Department or NPP of Thailand. We issue the phyto certificate. Is follow up. The first one, we have the Plant Quarantine Act in Thailand or national law. And after that, when we issue the phyto certificate, we would like to issue follow the phyto requirement of the importing country. And the last one, we have the international standard like ISBM number 12. This slide, we would like to show a little bit about the e-phyto system development in Thailand. So we would like to talk about the two systems. The first one, we would like to talk about the native system in Thailand. And the second one, we would like to talking about how to the mechanism for the exchange information electronic. The first one, we would like to talk about the native system in Thailand. In Thailand, we have a two system. The first one, the system in the Thai DOA. We call the we have the import e-phyto system and export e-phyto system. This system is operated by the Thai DOA. And the second one, we talked already about the national single window operated by the Custom Department and NT or National Telecom of Thailand. The national single window system is centralized for the exchanging e-document and information among the government agency in Thailand and across the country. Oh, sorry. Okay. The second one, we would like talking about the e-phyto system, how to the transmission mechanism. It's very important for us because first one, native system, we can issue PC. Right now, we operate already. And the second one, if we have the native system already, the next step, we need to exchange the trading country. So we're talking about the transmission mechanism. This is the electronic phytosanitary certificate or e-phyto can exchange electronic data with the trading partner via national single window. We have the three scenarios. The first one, we can exchange point to point between Thailand through national single window and the trading country. And second one, we can exchange like a single point. Single point, we have a two choice or two channel. The first one, among ASEAN country, we can exchange through the ASEAN single window or ASW. And second one, we have the e-phyto hub to exchange the country out of ASEAN. I would like to make more detail a little bit about the recommendation regarding guideline and the requirement for e-phyto certificate. This document provide guidance for mapping electronic phytosanitary certificate based on UNCFAC schema version 27 of the SPS certificate. And the underlying principle is that electronic phytosanitary certificate contain the same element as the paper phytosanitary certificate as described in ISBM number 12. The aim of this mapping is to standardize the structure of electronic phytosanitary certificate, thereby facilitating worldwide exchange for the electronic certificate. It's not only the phyto certificate. Next slide, We would like to recap again about the current status about the e-FITO format development in Thailand. So on your screen, right now we have the native system already. We have the DOA e-FITO export system, and we have e-FITO import system. I would like to talk about the e-FITO export system before. Right now, we are operate already. After that, this system, we can exchange information between DOA system and national single window in Thailand already. And next step, we need to exchange information about the trading country. For example, if we exchange between the, if we need to exchange among ASEAN country, we can through the ASEAN single window. And right now, we have a testing state with the Indonesia already. And the second one, talking about the e-FITO hub. And right now, we have a testing status too. And if we can fix some technical issue, we can live operation. And the last one, and the line of, and the blue line, if country need to exchange with Thailand, not through part AW or e-FITO hub, we can exchange like a point to point from Thailand, from national single window of Thailand, and send to NPPO of the trading country. Okay, for this forum, we would like to talking about the e-FITO certificate requirement for the lab accreditation. So it's very important for us. Right now, Thailand, we have like a legal or law for the support laboratory accreditation for seed testing or seed inspection, and we can use the data information report from the lab to issue the FITO certificate for the export. I would like to conclude again about the system, how to send the data information for issue FITO certificate. The first one, right now, we have the native system already, right? We have the e-FITO system submission like a single form. So this time, exporter can submit information for issue PC to the e-FITO system under the DOA. And after that, we can send the information to the plant quarantine station. Why we send to the plant quarantine station? Because the exporter need to receive like a paper certificate from the plant quarantine station. So after that, when exporter submit information and information to send to plant quarantine station, if consignment is seed, we can send to the laboratory. Right now, we have only Thai lab. And the next time, and the near the future, we have laboratory accreditation by the way already. This is like an alternative way for the exporter. And after that, when the lab inspect or seed testing already, lab can send the data information to the plant quarantine station. And after that, we can issue the FITO certificate and send to the national single window and can send to the trading country. Okay, one more time again, try to clarify about the business flow. The first one from the exporter, e-FITO request submission from under the Thai DOA, and on the blue area, this is like a mapping data. When exporters send the information to the e-FITO request submission, we have the data information, right? And after that, information can send to the lab. We have the lab result sent to the plant quarantine station, and we can the data requirement mapping is follow up three things. The first thing, the legal in Thailand. Second thing, the importing country requirement. and lasting ISPM number 12. And after that, we can generate to the EB XML format, and we can send to the National Single Window of Thailand or NW. This is the overview of the general e-FITO exchange in Thailand. On your right hand side, on your left hand side, that is the native system. First, DOA e-FITO import system we have already, right? And we have DOA e-FITO export system already. We can generate to the XML file and send to the DOA e-FITO server. And after that, we send to the NW of Thailand. That is the centralized. And after that, we can send to trading country of Thailand. 3 scenarios. The first one, we can exchange file with e-FITO hub. Second one, among ASEAN countries, we can send to the ASEAN single window. And some country, if we need to exchange point to point, we have the another way. Next step, we would like to talk about now. Thai DOA, we are already for support the lab or lab accredited by DOA or lab CD. And right now, Thailand already exchange e-FITO certificate with trading country. Not only Thai DOA, we have the Thai Custom, we have the National Single, we have in NW or in an NT of Thailand, and we have the JZ in Bangkok, and another one we have the ASC, right? I think. And the way or scenario we can exchange, we have 3 scenario. The first one through e-FITO hub. Second one, among ASEAN country, we can exchange through ASEAN single window or point to point for some country. Okay, thank you so much. I think everybody clear or not, I'm not sure. It's not easy to ask. It's not easy to describe about the e-FITO hub.
Okay.
Okay.
It's good. Thank you very much, Kun Chaisak, for the wonderful presentation, very informative. And I should really congratulate our colleagues here from TASA and from APSA, and of course the DOA for it's a breakthrough. No, Dr. Sumitra said it just took 6 months, no, for the DOA to approve this lab accreditation especially. So thank you very much. We have time for one or two questions, if there are any from, yes, Jack, is it you?
It's me. Jack Metzler from Lima Grand Vegetable Seeds. I have a question. It's reading the document in the Gazette. It wasn't clear to me. It says the accreditation will be put into progress once it has been published in the Gazette. Has it already been published?
Hello. Yeah. The question is, has this already been published in the Gazette? Because it will only take effect after publication in the Gazette. So have the guidelines for the lab accreditation been published in the Gazette?
Yeah. Already. We have the law support the lab accreditation already.
Okay, so that
Already passed already.
okay,
yes.
so that means that companies can get
Yes, right.
the accreditation in the months coming, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So everything, has been published. So they're just waiting for applications. from the private seed laboratories. Maybe Dr. Sumitra can help.
Yes, as the private sector over here, we have seen it has been has passed the Gazette, and then the system has been installed, and we actually did in advance the proficiency test, the PT test among the lab, and now the registration is open.
Thank you very much.
And the next step for the e-phyto design for support the lab. The first thing we need, if possible, I think the requirement is very important for us. I mean requirement for design to the e-phyto system. We need to the requirement from the laboratory, like a system design in the lab. And the second one, if we need to exchange for the trading country, we need to negotiate. The first thing, we need to know about the e-phyto structure from the trading country. So we have the ISPM number 12. That is like a e-phyto structure, e-phyto already. But some country between Thailand and some country trading country, we have like a bilateral set up the condition how to import, how to export. That is a requirement for import. So if we know the requirement, we can design for the support e-phyto system.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kun Chayathak. Thank you. So we will move on to our next presenter. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I know she wanted to be here with us, but she couldn't. So she will join us online to speak on the international efforts on seed health. May I invite Dr. Rosa Richards, the ISF Seed Health Manager. Rose, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Marianne. And yeah, you're very right. I wanted so much to be with you all, but nonetheless, I'm with you all in spirit and here online as well. So I'm going to present to you all some of the initiatives that we've been doing at the international level on seed health, on phytosanitary matters, that it is very important to all the different members who are here on this audience and very important for this committee as well. So I'll start by sharing my screen. Please, Marianne, tell me if you guys cannot see my presentation.
Yes,
So,
Rose, please go ahead.
thank you. So seed health is a very important topic for the seed industry. This is without any doubt. Quality seed is an expectation from growers. And as a result of it, predictable international movement of seed is critical to ensure food security. Keeping seeds and consequently plants healthy is crucial to be able to ensure a sustainable agriculture and food system, as well as to protect the environment and the ecosystem. Part of the ISF, we have done a number of different activities to be able to bring this message forward. Nonetheless, we have a statement where we talked about the increased adoption of restricted phytosanitary regulation by several governments. This statement was issued last year and it can be found on the ISF website. This is part of some of the advocacy that we continue doing. Another thing that we have been doing and continue working on the implementation of the International Standard for Phytosanitary Measures number 38. This international standard is incredibly important for the seed sector because it does provide all the guidelines for the different NPPOs, for the National Plant Protection Organizations, on how to implement this very important standard, which it is specific for the international movement of seeds. To be able to support this, ISF has a training manual which explains about what is a PPC, how the relevance of this international standard for the seed sector, and also clarify some different guidance that there is inside this document. This is a very important document for the seed sector, and we would like to see this implemented correctly across all the different NPPOs. So this is a constant advocacy that we have. And now going forward, is very delighted to hear about the representative from the DOA in Thailand. We continue also doing advocacy and efforts to have the ISPM number 45, which allow NPPOs to accredit third parties to be able to do phytosanitary activities on behalf of the NPPO. We also, as part of the ICF, engage on bringing this international standard fully adopted by the different NPPOs. There are some other initiatives as well, and I will be briefly talking about all of them. And I will started by the Regulated Pest List initiative. So the ICF Regulated Pest List is a database of regulated pests that provide a thorough, independent scientific assessment of whether seed is a pathway for the introduction and spread and cause an infection. So this database you can find on the ICF website and does provide very great information in relation if seed is a pathway for specific pests. This is a snapshot how this database look like. And I recommend you all to take a look. There is some great information there, and not only talks about if seed is a pathway, but does provide information on detection and risk mitigation. The content of this database is pretty much a list of pests regulated on seeds that are traded internationally. We targeted all the different regulated fungi, oomycetes, bacteria, nematode, viruses and viroids, and insects. And the regulated pest data is obtained from National Import Requirements Database, but also from information provided by the National Plant Protection Organization. We currently have 15 crop-specific lists. It's very much targeted for the vegetable ones, but we are expanding and hopefully we'll have more next year. If we have 3 at the moment going through some work, 4 actually, peas, radish, artichoke, and runner beans. What is goal? Goal of this database is to provide the science-based information on host pest associations that are risks to seed health, support scientifically based phytosanitary requirements as per the ISPMs and also the SPS agreement, promote the harmonization of national and phytosanitary regulations, the safe movement of seed worldwide. The ISF Regulated Pest List Initiative is referenced on the ISPM 38 as an appendix, and has been successfully used in advocacy with the national seed associations to remove and to be able to harmonize requirements for regulated pests, because actually seeds should be regulated, pests should be regulated on seeds only if seed is a pathway. We know that only 4 to 5% actually of the current regulated pests for at least the 15 different crops that we have, seed is a pathway. Another very important initiatives that we work in under the international level, we have the International Seed Health Initiative that has the mission to develop reference methods that are accepted by the industry as standards. It assists seed companies in their risk management and advocate for the seed industry on seed health related issues. As a result, it does facilitate the international movement of seeds. ISHI is composed of over 70 different plant pathologists working together in a non-competitive way to develop seed health methods. Today, we have 46 different seed companies and private labs from 11 different countries working together to be able to develop this. This is the structure that we have from this group, but I would like to not just be talking about this and explain. Actually, I would like to share with you all some of the work that this group has been doing. And for that, I will introduce you to a video where we're talking about the validation of a grout assay in sweat dogs to detect acidovaracity.
Seed is the foundation of agriculture, and it moves around the world constantly. Breeding, production, and trade takes place in numerous countries every day before seeds reach the farmer's field. All this can increase the risk of plant pests and diseases spreading, which can impact biodiversity and agricultural output. Therefore, one of the most important aspects of this entire process is seed health. How do we ensure that only healthy seed moves across borders? The International Seed Health Initiative, or ISHI, is a seed industry platform under the International Seed Federation. It brings together seed health experts who develop testing methods to ensure that healthy, high-quality seeds reach farmers who grow our food around the globe. Melon and watermelon plants are susceptible to a type of bacteria called Acidovorax citrulli, which causes seedling blight and bacterial fruit blotch. Although an uncommon and isolated disease, when it does hit, it is utterly devastating and causes a total loss of marketable fruit. Traditionally, Acidovorax citrulli is detected by conducting a seedling grow-out test in a greenhouse. This process takes a month or more to complete. Elaborate precautions are taken to prevent cross-contamination. Members of the International Seed Health Initiative took the challenge to find a better testing method, one that was faster, more practical, and equally effective in detecting these harmful bacteria. Smadar Kleiman, chair of the Ishivej International Technical Group for cucurbits, describes the challenges and what they hoped to find as a solution.
Hello, my name is Smadar Kleiman Shuval, and I'm working at Azera Seeds for the past 16 years. In the last 4 years, I'm the Global Director of Quality Control and Seed Technology. I joined ISHI at 2013. Okay, so Acidovorax citrulli is a gram-negative bacterium that causes fruit blotch of melon. Fruit blotch of melon is a sporadic disease, but under favorable environment conditions, it can become very devastating, and it may cause even 100% of loss of marketable fruit. The destructive potential of this disease was realized after some outbreaks during the late 80s. After the outbreaks, this disease got much attention from scientific committees. Most effort has been put in applied research, including improvement of diagnostic methods for Acidovorax citrulli detection in seeds and in plants, and of course, screening for resistances. We were looking for a high reliable detection method, shorter and faster than the grow out, which could be utilized to, at the same time, for a relatively high throughput screening. The advantage of the sweatbox grow out method over the greenhouse grow out is that it is faster, it takes less space, and as it is performed in climate chamber, the environment conditions are easier to be controlled. By that, we can use this method as an alternative to the validated greenhouse grow out method and as an option to confirm positive result obtained from seed extract qPCR as a pre-screening assay. So I would say that the main accomplishment of this project was the fact that we have a short, fast, and a highly reliable detection method on the table for us to use.
To find better detection methods for Acidovorax citrulli, a researcher named Hubert Liebert led the effort, which involved scientists in France, the Netherlands, Israel, and the United States.
My name is Hubert Liebert. I am in charge of the seed pathology research team in HM Close in France. I have been started to belong to the International Seed Health Initiative since 1994. It was the date of the creation of this international working group. We were about 9 people only, and now ISHI is much more than 60 experts on seed pathology. So a method to detect Acidovorax citrulli, called bacterial fruit blotch of cucurbits, was existing. It consists in testing the development of plantlets from seeds in a greenhouse, observing specific symptoms on young leaves. This method takes a lot of room, and the sensitivity of the test is fully dependent on the conditions. Not always easy to be uniform along the year. So the goal was to reduce the space needed for testing 10,000 seeds per seed batch, improving the homogeneity of the conditions by using a sweet box in climate rooms.
The project team dedicated 5 years of work to develop the method, validate it, conduct peer reviews, and finalize the protocol.
So to develop a new method, many steps are mandatory to validate a new method, and specific criteria needs to be verified. which are the specificity of the method, being the ability of the assay to detect the target pathogen while excluding the non-target ones. So the second one is sensitivity, being the smallest amount of the target pathogen that can be detected, defining the limit of detection. The third one is the selectivity, being the effect of different seed matrices on the ability of the method to detect the target pathogen. You've got also the repeatability, being the degree of similarity in results of replicates of the same seed lots when the method is performed in a single lab. And the reproducibility, finally, being the degree of similarity in results when the method is performed across labs with replicates of the same subsamples. The last criterion has been verified organizing a comparative test across 8 labs.
The work undertaken by scientists and researchers in 8 laboratories across 4 countries confirmed that the sweatbox grow-out method is suitable to detect contaminated seed lots. This meant that there is now an internationally validated method for detecting Acidovorax citrulli in melon seeds, one that is quicker, less expensive, uses less space, and is easier to control.
Wow, there is a lot of reason why a project is succeeding, but I would say project leader combination together with team leader and a true motivation of setting up a good detection method on the shelf for users to use.
So one of the main issues to achieve, in fact, in this validation process was to find contaminated seeds, was also to find different laboratories who would accept to participate to this comparative test. Of course, to send all the samples, to get back all the results, and finally, to make statistical analysis on all those data, which was very, very important to validate this new method.
So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video where we are, for me, it really explains what is the work this group is doing. And without further ado, I would like to just going forward with my presentation where we're going to briefly touch about E5. It's really briefly. We know that E5 has many advantages to us all, and this is why it was so important, the announcement made by the DOA in terms of the work that they have been doing with the implementation of electronic phytosanitary certification. For us, as the ISF, we are continue enforcing and advocating for the implementation across all the different countries because there is so many advantages for the seed sector, like simplification, harmonization of administrative procedures, harmonization of the terminology use, strong reduction of administrative errors, quick and predictable timelines, no loss of certificates anymore, improved security, which is very important. How many times we have consignments held at the board, which can take many days to be able to be released because there is an error on the paperwork. And also the possibility to anticipate and correct errors in time, increase an overall efficiency. So this is why there is a huge input and a huge advocacy at the international level to have the electronic phytosanitary certificate implemented across all the different countries. What would like to see is a map, this world map completely green. What is the green means? Fully live exchanging. So only electronic phytosanitary certificates across the world. As the co-chair of the industry advisory group, we have been doing a number of different workshops since 2021 and continue throughout 2022, where we have been engaging with the different NPPOs to be able to bring the message of the E5 when bringing together the private and the public sector. This is a very important initiative that we take at the international level. Some of the objectives of these workshops is to help facilitate the conversation between all the relevant parties, also to understand the current status. We have done recently with the Philippines, and I would like to say thank you to Marianne for having been an instrumental on the organization of that event, but also we have continued this work and will continue even more going forward, and with the next few countries being Pakistan and hopefully Ghana, not very long. My last initiative at the international level that I would like to talk to you all is systems approach. Systems approach means that we wanted to have an identification of phytosanitary measures to reduce the risk to an acceptable level. What that means, recognition of the current process by the industry. We know as part of the seed sector that we use many recognized risk reduction and prevention measures for seed pests of concern, such as seed certification schemes, resistant varieties, seed testing, seed treatments. We would like to have all the different processes, all the different activities that take place during the seed production to be recognized by the different NPPOs, so we can have a more predictable movement of seeds across the world, guaranteeing sustainable agriculture and food security. Vegetable seed business is a complex one, where we have breeding in specific climatic zones across the world, where there is production in different climates due to logistics, timing, expertise. Assessing quality control is done in different countries in specialized centers, and the global sales that take place afterwards. Therefore, there is a lot of challenges that come with this. And with that, I would like to just share with you all a couple of videos that it was developed by the Systems Approach Expert Group and shared, and I would like to share with you all. First one, we're talking about the challenge on moving seeds. And here we go.
Global food production depends on the ability of farmers to access viable, healthy seeds. Seed movement is essential for breeding new plant varieties and securing future seed supplies. But moving seeds around the world is challenging. It requires multiple phytosanitary measures to prevent the risk of pests, plant diseases and noxious weeds, and ensure optimal quality. The existing certification system's centralized and overly complex approach forces seed industry players to satisfy disharmonized and complicated import-export declarations for each country. There are currently more than 300 types of seed commodities shipped internationally, with approximately 180 NPPOs deployed to certify shipments and 1 million phytosanitary certificates exchanged between exporting and importing countries yearly. This places increasing pressure on the National Plant Protection Organization's limited resources and significantly adds to the costs for and impact the ability of seed companies to get seed to farmers when they need it. This level of trade demands a simplified, harmonious, more efficient way of shipping seeds across international borders that entrusts the responsibility for a large share of monitoring and inspection to seed companies, a systems approach. Rather than dealing with millions of certification documents under the current consignment by consignment system for phytosanitary certification, approved seed companies have the option to certify and move their seeds based on seed production and conditioning practices. Our proposed systems approach represents a transition from a bilateral to a multilateral strategy. We strive for global harmonization through a system that is simple, easy to implement by the NPPOs, yet fulfilling their needs. Systems approach is recognized in the ISPN 38, governing the international movement of seed. In other words, a systems approach means that seeds produced in an NPPO-approved supply chain can be imported, exported, or re-exported to many countries with a phytosanitary certificate without the need for specific additional declarations for individual pests. Under ISPN 14, the systems approach can include elements like risk evaluation, pest monitoring and information sharing, pest risk management, and quality management with checks and inspections at the appropriate moments. It's a win-win for all. Seed producers will benefit from multilateral agreements between countries of production, countries of distribution, and countries of sale that significantly streamline the frequently used re-export process. NPPOs will be equipped to better understand seed production practices, meaning greater transparency for both sides. Farmers will get quick access to healthy seeds thanks to an agile, predictable trade so that they can grow crops on time and meet consumer demands for fresh and nutritious food. Although it may take some time and effort to adopt a systems approach for seeds, ISF believes it is the way forward for the seed industry, government organizations, and other stakeholders without compromising our mutual objectives to ensure only healthy seeds move around the world while preventing the spread of pests and diseases. Systems approach, an alternative option for phytosanitary certification. Seed is
So what is the vision? One globally accepted systems approach that serves as an alternative to existing pest risk management options to secure phytosanitary certification for the international movement of seed. How are we going to do this? And this is why this second very short video, and they'll be able to explain to you how.
What would it take to make the systems approach work? Essential elements of a systems approach for seed from an industry point of view are that the system is in line with international standards and guidelines, offers an alternative to consignment by consignment certification for seed companies with certified pest risk management practices, strives for global harmonization via multiple harmonized bilateral or multilateral agreements, is risk-based and data-driven, is flexible across different crops, is non-competitive and accessible to small and large seed companies, and incorporates established industry practices while leaving room for innovations. Now that we know the what, let's discuss the how. Close collaboration between NPPOs and industry is essential for a successful design and implementation of a multilateral systems approach. The quality management system, or QMS, of each participating company will play an important role. QMS is a tool that companies use to ensure production of high-quality seeds for their customers in a consistent way. It describes, for example, the organization's quality policy and quality objectives, its structure and working procedure to manage the risk of pests, tracking and tracing process of seed lots, internal audits, and customer complaint management. Continuous improvement is a key principle. QMS also enables regulatory oversight. The focus in a systems approach will be on the pests for which seed is a known pathway for transmission. Industry proposes to use the ISF-regulated pest list as a basis to decide about pests for which seed is a pathway. Risk evaluation will be based on an analysis of the entry pathways of pests into seed production. Pest management options will be selected based on the pathway analysis. Effective mitigation of the pathways will provide protection against many pests with similar biology. Also, if they are new or emerging pests, there is no need for specific measures for each individual pest. Auditing by NPPOs or NPPO-approved entities will be the basis for confidence in the systems approach. For a systems approach to work, it is vital that the pest management practices applied in one country are accepted by multiple NPPOs. Acceptance of systems approach by all countries in the supply chain is essential to facilitate the re-export process frequently used in the industry. For seeds produced under systems approach, the NPPO can issue a phytosanitary certificate for export or re-export without further inspection or testing. The importing NPPO can monitor the system's effectiveness via random tests and inspections. All this to ensure healthy seeds move around the world. Systems approach, an alternative phytosanitary certification system for seed. Seed is life.
Okay.
And with that, I would like to finish my presentation and thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, Rose. You anticipated what I was about to say. So thank you very much. Due to time constraint, we could not entertain a question, but if you have some burning questions, you may submit your question to the Secretariat and she will get in touch with Rose through the chat box. So let's move on to thank you very much, Rose. Thank you. We miss you here. Take care.
Thank you so much, Marianne.
Okay, so we move on to our next speaker. He will talk on strengthening phytosanitary compliances and public-private partnership for enhancing seed trade for the Asia-Pacific region. So may I invite Dr. Shivendra Bajai, member of the APSA ITQ Committee and Executive Director of FSII.
Thank you, Marianne, for inviting, and thanks for everyone for coming. So I would like to give an update of a project that is for, I think Marianne mentioned in her opening remarks, and in the inauguration today, it was mentioned as well about a project for strengthening phytosanitary compliance in the region. Although India is not involved, but somehow I was involved in this project in the writing stage. So I'll present on behalf of the project partners. Yeah, so it's a project that was submitted to STDF, the Standard and Trade Development Facility. It was, so I'll just give you a brief overview what exactly STDF is, and then talk about the project partners and the project in little bit detail. So STDF is a part of WTO, which is a global partner in building capacity for SPS. It has many, as you can see, it has many founding organizations like FAO, WHO, World Bank, Codex. The funding from STDF comes from 11 donors, basically the governments of US, Canada, European governments, Australia, Ireland, etc. It has an XPS experts from developing countries and some of the observer organizations. So what STDF does is they sanction projects on strengthening of the sanitary and phytosanitary projects which are important for global or regional trade. Many of the projects have been funded on seed trade and especially on the public-private partnerships. So this project was submitted for the beneficiary countries. There were 7 countries, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Philippines, Bangladesh, and Nepal, with an option of adding more countries at a later stage, provided the funding comes from a different source. As it was discussed in the inauguration session, APARI, Asia Pacific Association for Agriculture Research Institutions, was the lead project sort of developer. APARI Secretary Dr. Khetapal is here with us. In collaboration with the regional seed associations like APSA, CropLife Asia, ISF, and also American Seed Trade Association. So they submitted a joint project to STDF on the strengthening of phytosanitary compliance. Why this project was submitted? Basically, I mean, we also heard from Rose that SPS issues are not very new in global agriculture trade. And there are many phytosanitary concerns that specifically affect the seed trade, especially in developing countries. For example, the pest lists are not updated, and that impacts the PRA process. Not having a e-phyto, and we heard in this session that Thailand is implementing e-phyto, but many other countries are not yet doing it, somehow in the process of doing it. Countries do not have the capacity for keeping up with the international standards, and also there is a bit of lack of partnership between public and private sector. So keeping all these factors in mind, So this project was submitted to STDF. Basically, it took almost, I would say, 2 years, if not more, to develop this project. How it was done, basically, it was a country assessment was done, who could benefit from this project. A briefing paper was prepared, a consultative workshop was held, one-on-one meetings, and then a project was developed, a validation workshop was held, and then a submission of full-length project was submitted to STDF. So, and as I said that it took almost 2 years. In fact, rather 3 years. I remember in 2019, we had this APSA phyto consultation where Dr. Ravi first proposed this idea to industry for a collaboration to submit this project. So basically 3 years from now, 3 years ago, this was conceived. We also discussed this project that was online in our 7th phyto consultation. Validation workshop was also done online, unfortunately. But then in in February, the full-length project was submitted to STDF. After several revisions, finally the project was sanctioned in July, although it hasn't officially started yet. So probably it will start maybe next month. And the project duration is for 3 years. Oops, sorry. So what are the key activities? And I'll be very quick because I have only 10 minutes for this presentation. So what are the key activities? First of all, so this project is structured in a way that it has objectives, and against objectives or outputs, we have key activities that are measured in a structure that STDF has called logical framework or log frame, they call it. So it has 4 or 5 outputs or objectives. First thing is to make an assessment of the existing infrastructure and capabilities of those countries that agreed to be part of this project. So basically the information was collected during the phytosanitary consultation, as well as online meetings, as well as several email exchanges. So the activities for this project will be to build further on the information that we have received, make a sort of a phytosanitary capacity evaluation for those countries, then analysis of the workshop that has been done, meet with individual NPPOs of those countries to get information in detail, and then have a consultation meeting, the first face-to-face consultation meeting of this project. So some of these activities would be done actually in the first 6 months of the project. Second output, I think Rose also highlighted about the pest database. So here the aim of the project is to create a database or a portal, we call it, that will be updated by the NPPOs for the phyto requirements, and that will be in English. So because, I mean, we all know that we are a very diverse region and many of the information is not available in English. So this portal will sort of will help to disseminate information in English. It will review the existing pest list. It will have the information on the phytosanitary requirements, the export-import requirements, and a prototype that will be developed. So initially it will be hosted by APSA, but after the completion of the project, I think some organization will take it over. This is the main objective or output of this project on the capacity building, especially on the various ISPMs. I would specifically highlight ISPM 12, which is on the e-phyto development. As we just heard, Thailand has been doing it. Nepal has been doing it, one of the project beneficiaries. But many countries have just registered. Some are in advanced stage, some have basically not done much on it. So basically, this project will help individual countries to bring up to the speed. So what I mean by this is that, some of the activities will be done based on the country's requirement. So it is like not one size fits all kind of thing.
Also, activities will be on ISPM 38, which will be on the seed movement. And as highlighted before on ISPM 45, which again, Thailand is, one of the leaders, the leader in this region on implementation of third-party lab accreditation. But other countries will also be encouraged, and at least the capacity will be developed for that purpose. So obviously, it will involve several workshops, and this will also give an opportunity for what STDF likes to call as a South-South cooperation, because Thailand has been leading it, so other countries can take experience from Thailand. Next output is about creating a public-public, as I said, South-South cooperation, and then also a public-private partnership. So this project will sort of create as a platform where the governments, the NPPOs of these 7 countries can come together. Also, the seed industry along with these NPPOs can come together. So the seed industry through like the members of APSA or ISF and the seed associations, where in those countries we have association, like for example, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, we do have seed associations. So those will be participants in this project. So that, we will need to have several joint workshops. Some of those workshops will be to demonstrate the investment that has been done by the private sector in seed health testing. So that will sort of give a confidence to the NPPOs when they make decision about, their decision in the development of ISPM 45 for third-party lab accreditations. And then also we hope that this project will also facilitate a policy dialogue between NPPOs and independent laboratories on ISPM 45. So just to summarize, this project definitely aims for improving the capabilities of NPPOs. It will create a portal for phyto requirements. We will definitely advocate the adoption of international standards, especially on the e-phyto, ISPM 38 and ISPM 45. It will also promote and highlight. So this would be a forum for the private sector to highlight what kind of investments they have made to gain confidence with the NPPOs, and that will help to facilitate the lab accreditation programs. I think that is my last slide. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Shivendra. Since we have time for 1 or 2 questions, if there are any questions. Yes, please. But before, I just like to say that the committee is really very pleased, very proud of this accomplishment, having this project approved. So the challenge now is its implementation. Yes, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
Dr. Ravi.
I'm Ravi Kirtipal from APARI, Asia Pacific Association of Agriculture Research Institution. Shivendra has very nicely, succinctly presented the key features of the project. I just want to highlight 2 points to complement or supplement. We are having an inception workshop of the project tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in Hotel Berkeley, which is 10 minutes walk from here. So everyone here is invited who do not have an overlap session or who may find it important. Everyone is invited for the inception workshop. 9 a.m. Berkeley Hotel, Pratunam, which is 10 minutes walk from here. Second point, which I want to highlight, he very well mentioned about the various capacity building workshops, or various ISPMs and all. I would just like to say one key feature of capacity building, which APARI does. When we do any capacity building, we do not only build technical capacity. Normally, the whole world is going for technical capacity. There is ISPM, the norm, they should know. We just feed information on the participant. our capacity building program, even in this project, in all our projects of APARI, is actually blended with the functional capacity along with technical capacity. When I say functional capacity, which means the soft skills. And there are modules for blending functional and technical capacity by Tropical Agriculture Platform of FAO, with whom we are working, which we are following in the projects, where anyone who is a candidate or a participant in capacity building also learn about capacity to collaborate, capacity in policy strengthening, capacity in collaboration, and so on. It's a multiple kind of a thing which we blend in the project. And let me say, APARI is basically, we are an association of all the governments of the Asia and the Pacific. So we are completely public sector in a way, though we have some private sector members, like EPSA is a member of APARI, for example, or FSII and a few other agencies. However, here, this was a first attempt of us taking all the public sector to make sure that we have a clear partnership with the private sector. So we realized the importance of private sector completely in the seed trade, seed health, and all this game of propagation or promotion of seed industries. So this will be a very unique project from public-private partnership angle also, and will be a model. And the person from SPDF for WTO, she's very much here. She was here last night and she'll be there tomorrow. And I wish most of you come and participate in the inception workshop, because this project is finally going to have a multiplier effect beyond Asia, in Africa and Latin America. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rabi, for that additional information. As I said, the challenge really here now is the implementation of the project. And I think the inception workshop tomorrow will be a good venue to express your thoughts and your suggestions. Again, thank you very much,
so
Dr. Shivendra. Yes. Well, we move on to the next presentation to update us on the, I said, much talked about plant breeding innovation, global view on policy and position from the seed sector. May I invite Dr. Jabolks Ruthner, ISF Regulatory Affairs Manager. Shabi, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mary, and thank you very much for the invitation and also giving me the opportunity to speak. I know that we are running pretty much behind schedule, so I try to be as quick as possible and just try to focus on a few areas where I think it would be good you to remember, especially the ones who are working in the area of policy, speaking about policymakers on plant breeding innovation. So if I can, the first slides on the screen. Okay, so thank you very much. I will speak a little bit about the genome editing and in the context of the plant breeding. It's very important because this is how we would like to speak with the policymakers. We don't want to single out genome editing as such, but we would like to put in the context of the breeding cycle. I will speak about the need of enabling policies, and I will give a little bit of global policy update. And in the end, I will finish my presentation with future-proofing policies. So this is about International Seed Federation, but my colleague Rose, she a little bit introduced our organization. So we are a global seed organization. We would like to be seen as a voice of the global seed industry. We have 58 national seed association members, so we are directly or indirectly representing it's more than 7,000 companies, and we are present in 75 countries. So back to this beautiful topic of plant breeding innovation. You may heard a lot of abbreviation. People are speaking about NBTs, NGTs, new breeding techniques, new genomic techniques. In the industry, we would like to use the term of plant breeding innovation because it reflects to the continuum of of science and evolution. Again, we don't want to single out any technologies. We don't know what kind of technologies will be developed in the future. So we would like to refer them as plant breeding innovation. And genome editing is basically just one part of it. So it is one tool of the breeder's toolbox. And this also symbolizes that the older method, what we use, don't become obsolete because of the evolution in science and the use of different genome editing applications such as CRISPR or TALEN or zinc finger. What is very important element that why we do all of this, why we do genome editing. I think my slide's stuck. So the aim of a plant breeder is create genetic variability, create new genetic variability and in the end transform into new characteristics or improved characteristics. You can do it in many ways. You can do it with the traditional breeding methods such as crossing and selection, or using random mutagenesis by chemicals or irradiation. So in all these ways, you try to improve the genetic base you are breeding with. But regardless what you do in introducing new genetic variation, it will be part of the classical breeding cycle. So breeders will do selection afterwards. Breeders will do numerous years of field trials to make sure that what they release to the environment and what they release then as a product to the consumers, it's a high quality product. It doesn't contain allergens. It's safe to use. And again, genome editing, we put this into this equation because it's much faster and much more efficient than previous methods. But the way how breeders working in general won't change because of genome editing. And I think it's a very important element, because when you are speaking with the regulators, they only looking for from a kind of narrow focus many times, and they're just focusing on the genome editing part. But we always have to tell them, hey, this is still, we have a long tradition of plant breeding, a nice breeding cycle, which won't be changed dramatically because genome editing was added into this process. So again, just try to explain it so you can introduce genetic variation with crossing, chemical and mutagenesis or radiation, and with genome editing. And you can introduce all various changes, starting from a very small insertion deletion, which causing in a point mutation in the genome, all which can lead to inversion, translocation, and duplications in which you can duplicate and translocate like segment of the chromosome, or even duplicate a whole set of chromosomes. And you can all do this with the different method, with the more traditional method, conventional method, and genome editing. Again, the difference is here that with genome editing, you do it in a much more precise way. You can predict much better the outcome, and also you can reduce off-target effects much efficiently as you compare how you did it in the past. And of course, you can do transgenic modification. We always speaking about that as a separate box, because in this step, you introduce a foreign DNA, you add a novel genetic combination, which in many countries indeed already regulated differently. But again, the story here the same, that regardless what type of methods you use, you put this into the context of the breeding cycle. So you do various field trials, both at the state level, because in many countries there are official variety registration system, or at the company level to make sure that what you release to the environment and you give it to the product, the consumer, it's a high quality new variety. A little bit about the policy. So we have a brilliant tool to use. We have a lot of potentials, and breeders, small, big, public, private, already started using it and start building it to their breeding programs. But how much it will be used in the future, because we have this kind of great progress, will highly depend on the regulatory framework in the different countries. And we know in history that an overly high regulatory burden will limit the use of any technology to big companies who can face with the burden, the administrative burden or the financial burden of a kind of approval procedure. And also it will limit the utilization of larger crop, which are high value from high value trades and so forth. So we really need science-based consistent policies which enables the use of this technology for very wide and diverse range of developers, public, private, small, big, and multinationals as well. Early on, the international seed sector agreed on the basic principles, how we think that this area needs to be handled by the policymaker. And we said, and this is pretty much based on what I said before, that if you have a product which was achieved by genome editing, but this product could have been achieved using by traditional conventional breeding methods, it shouldn't be regulated differently. Or in other words, if it doesn't contain foreign DNA or a novel genetic combination, it shouldn't be regulated as GMOs. And as we see on this map, hopefully it will come up. Many countries started in that way, and there's a true animation that from 2015, more and more countries started adopting policies on genome editing, started with the Latin America region, and that is spread out to the North America, Australia, and then some Asian countries all the way until 2022, when we see that many countries either adopted or are on the way of adopting new policies on genome editing. I won't go into the details because on the Asian region, my brilliant colleague Sonny will give a presentation zooming into each Asian countries. The takeaway message is here, and I didn't move, but it moved. Sorry. So the takeaway message here that even if you have many countries who were in green in this map, the outcome is not the same. So if you see the type of products which are coming out from a consultation, they won't be regulated exactly the same. So the scope of exemption of different countries will be different. So and until is the case, you cannot say that is as a full policy alignment globally. So we still need to work even in those countries who are many times in green or light green in this map, to make sure that if a product a developer want to release in a country, it will be treated in the same way. Yeah, if it doesn't contain foreign gene, yeah, the best scenario that they shouldn't be regulated as GMOs. And of course, there are some countries in red and yellow where the situation is not as good as in the green countries. They have more restrictive policies. Obviously, we are trying to focusing on our efforts on those countries to make sure that the policy debate turn to be a little bit more positive than it's today. So basically, what I said, this is what this try to summarize of what are the policy trends. So again, we have supporting policies, but many of them are already 7-8 years old, right? So and we knew that the technology developed a lot from the beginning, from 2015 when the early policies were adopted. So many of them were looking at the most simple changes, the most simple use of genome editing technologies, and they are not flexible enough to deal with new products which are coming into the market, not to mention products which may come in the future. So we know this is a really advancing part of the science. So we need flexible policies which can handle future products as well. not just the ones who are recently in the pipeline. So you need to have flexible policies. We call them. You need future-proof policies. And if we are looking around in the different countries, we find a few. I would mention Canada, Japan, the Philippines from this region, or Argentina, which has really have policies who are in the stage now that they can accommodate to future product, but many of them they still need to have some adjustments in the regulatory framework. Obviously, it's easy to understand that with future-proof policies, we can ensure that we have a predictable regulatory environment, which is flexible enough to handle future product in the market, while without future-proof policies, this can create uncertainty for the breeders and developers, and can cause delay putting these kind of products on the market. And on the other hand, it can lead to trade disruption, both at the seed level or later in the commodity level. So that's why, if you are thinking back again to this map before, we don't have to work in only those countries where there is no policies at the moment or restrictive policies. We also need to keep an eye in those countries where they have a kind of supporting policies, but they are not aligned enough, and they certainly not future-proof. So what ISF is doing in this space, recognizing that this could be a problem in the future, we try to engage in a debate with the regulators, especially in the first place with those regulators who are have most advanced policies, most flexible policies, and try to explain them that those criteria, what ISF has adopted, and it's followed by basically all seed organizations in the world, creating a kind of environment, a kind of decision-making mechanism which facilitates the adoption of future products in the market, because this is a kind of approach which is product-based and not process-based. And the approach is very simple. If the new product doesn't contain foreign gene or novel genetic combination, it shouldn't be regulated as a GMO. So we started this kind of discussion with some of the most advanced countries, and this is the plan basically, to try to spread it around and involve other country regulators whose policies needs to little bit improved to have this kind of flexibility element in it, which accommodates to new products which are coming into the pipeline. So this is yeah, it's I would say a work we need to do right now in order to achieve a better regulatory framework for future products which have been developed by genome editing and it's coming into the pipeline in the future. So yeah, I wanted to shorten a little presentation, and basically I just wanted you to understand this kind of takeaway message, that the overall picture from policy perspective is not too bad, but further improvement is still needed. To have more products on the market, more trade of these products, and having a so diverse base of developers as we have today. So thank you very much for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shabi. Very informative presentation, and also efficient use of time. You're 9 minutes ahead of the time allotment, so we have time for question if there are any. But I'd like to say that Dr. Shabi has been presenting this topic to the Asian Seed Congress already for 3-4 years, and it's good to see the progress, you know, with a few countries. So is there any question? I see no hands raised, so thank you very much, Dr. Shabi. Okay, we will now have the last but definitely not the least of the presentations. We have invited our a partner organization from the World Benchmarking Alliance, to speak on the enabling environment for seed sector development. So may I invite Miss Alice Ingabire, lead Access to Seeds Index of the World Benchmarking Alliance.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alice Ingabire, and I am representing the World Benchmarking Alliance, which is developing the Access to Seeds Index. And I wanted to ask this my slide ready. Okay. Perfect. So we are here to present to you about enabling environment for the seed sector development and way forward. So just a little bit about our work, what we do, and then why we chose this topic. I'll be telling you more about this through this presentation. In Access to Seeds Index, what we do is we evaluate seed companies, especially the most influential seed companies that have ability and capacity to change and improve their efforts to reach smallholder farmers in usually countries that are high food insecure, but also have high capacity to increase their yield. So the Access to Seeds Index was published in 2013. And since then, we have published 3 iterations of the index in 2016, 2019, and 2021. In 2019, it's the first time we included seed companies from South and Southeast Asia, which were 24. And then in 2021, we included 31 companies from the region. In 2022, we integrated into the World Benchmarking Alliance because Access to Seeds was started as an independent foundation. And for more impact, we integrated into the World Benchmarking Alliance. What the World Benchmarking Alliance is, we believe that private businesses, especially big businesses, they have a contribution to make towards the United Sustainable Development Goals. What our benchmarks do, they assess and compare company performances across 7 transformation areas on the UN Sustainable Development Goals, including the food and agriculture transformation, where the Access to Seeds Index was integrated as a spotlight benchmark of the food and agriculture benchmark. And I'll tell you more a little bit about that in the next slide. But overall, our benchmarks are free and available to use by everyone. And they're really great for informing companies and investors, governments, and civil society on where and how to hold the private sector accountable, and also recognize leadership on who is moving ahead. So we are working together with more than 300 allies in this work who are around the world, because the organization is based in the Netherlands, just to claim that. So we work with stakeholders across the world. And just like I said, a little bit more about a little bit more about the food and agriculture transformation at the World Benchmarking Alliance. We're looking at the food and agriculture systems at a holistic approach. And this is where the food and agriculture benchmark, it has selected 350 most influential companies across the value chain, the food and agriculture value chain. And we are assessing those companies on 4 measurement areas, mainly on governance, on nutrition, environment, and social inclusion. And then beyond that, we have the Access to Seeds Index, which was integrated here. And 9 of the companies that we have on our index, they are part of the 350 companies. And then we are looking at the seed sector more deeply from the start of the value chain as part of the agricultural inputs. And this is why to understand a little bit more about private sector, we are looking also at a regional level, because as you can understand, the seed sector is a little bit different and it requires a regional approach generally. So on the access to seeds index, what we are doing and our methodology of how we assess the companies we select usually, and these companies are selected based on regional and national experts who are giving us like recommendations on which companies to assess. And we assess them on 32 indicators. This is what we used for 2021 methodology. And those 32 indicators, they are included in 6 measurement areas. And these areas were selected and discussed by different stakeholders that are the most important to make sure that smallholder farmers have access to quality seeds. And these include governance and strategy, genetic resources and intellectual property management, research and development, seed production, marketing and sales, and capacity building. Looking at recent results of what we saw in 2021 with the access to seeds index, we see that the seed industry still has a lot more work to do, especially given that we are working within the agenda of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And what we can see is that majority of the seed companies that we assess scoring low. It is a little bit concerning that only half of the companies we are looking at, they disclose some kind of information on their access to seeds strategies for smallholder farmers, or they are including the number of smallholder farmers they are targeting and or related activities. And when you compare to the companies we include are global companies and also regional companies, you start to see the differences where global companies tend to perform very well across all the measurement areas that we shared with very clear access to seed strategies. They're giving us their targeted numbers for smallholder farmers, but sometimes they don't have these regional breakdowns. And then when you look at regional companies, they tend to be doing very well on the indicators around capacity building, marketing and sales, and seed production. So overall, when you look at particularly even South and Southeast Asia, you see that there's so much more work that we need to be doing to support the industry to increase their efforts and also to be holding them accountable. And yeah, a little bit of an overview, you can see like we have just 9 companies that are performing above 50% for South and Southeast Asia, and then majority 22 of the 31 are scoring below 49. So there's more work here to be done. And so to understand a little bit more about these companies and like how they're also setting up themselves to beyond what we look at their performance on our indicators, we also try to understand their activities on how they're setting themselves up. And this is where we see that particularly in South and Southeast Asia, most of the companies, the private sector is very welcome. Companies are very present in the region and they're reaching smallholder farmers. We see that at least in the region, we have 14 countries that we have selected on our index that we look at particularly in the region as part of those countries where we said high food insecurity and high potential food productivity. And when you look at the region, there's a few countries such as India, Vietnam, or Bangladesh, Thailand, where there's like 15 or more companies that are attracted, are getting there. So these are index companies we look at. And then when you compare some countries like, you know, there was Cambodia, Afghanistan, there's like very few companies that are going in these countries. So you start to ask yourselves like, why are some countries attracting more companies, whereas some are not? And what can we learn from there? And then when it also comes to companies like where they're setting up, there's still more work to be done to reach remote areas, particularly because we know smallholder farmers are in remote areas. So this is one. And then beyond sales and setting and their presence, companies also invest in other activities, such as like breeding programs, seed production, and seed processing. And these are really important, especially to develop the local seed sector so that you have a reliable supply and you're including farmers and you're building like a really strong local seed sector. And what we see is that, again, the trend of how some few countries are attracting most seed companies, it's also relevant to developing the local seed sector, where majority of the companies really are concentrated in just about 6 countries. And like I mentioned before, India, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and in some countries like Bangladesh, they're also getting more companies. But then some countries, it's just like 1 or 2 companies or 3 that have 1 or 3 investments there. So when you zoom in a little bit more on what we look at also, 28 companies of 31 we assessed, they reported to be investing in seed production in 10 countries. And what we see is that 15 of those companies including smallholder farmers in their activities, which is really good in terms of extra income and also knowledge sharing. And then beyond that, when you look at the entire seed sector, really on our indicators, there's like some concerning areas in seed production, particularly in lack of adequate systems to ensure social and labor standards. This is like covers topics such as child labor, forced labor, or safety of workers and living wages. This is an area that can be improved. And then also, in addition to seed production, the region is very strong with their research and development, which we can see where a lot of the companies are also attracted in the region to set their breeding programs. And these are usually about 28 of the 31 companies have breeding programs, mainly in 8 countries. And the industry here is also, they have their own breeding programs, which is like really advancement. And then there's a lot of collaboration also with like research institutions. And then on seed processing, this is where we kind of get a little bit of less information from companies, but we see that at least the region is still attracting many companies, like 21 of the companies we have, they have their seed processing plants in the region, mainly in 9 countries. And this responds to some questions that, you know, are important for smallholder farmers of what they need that is appropriate for them. So just to move on quickly, when you look at like how the industry is setting up, this brings up questions. It's like, how can we make sure that more countries are receiving investments from private sector and that they're also benefiting smallholder farmers? On our side, from the Access to Seeds Index, we try to look at these insights and say, so what does this really mean? What can we do about it? And this is why we went into 2022 with the idea of creating a community of practice as part of our impact here. And this is to bring, you know, companies and stakeholders to say, well, these are the insights we have. And this is what can we discuss about it? So one of the topics we had was enabling environment, where we worked with APSA and decided, okay, we don't know what to really ask, but what can we do together and say, and we decided to bring companies and stakeholders to help us define what is the enabling environment for the region and like what can we learn from that to move ahead so that we take more actions. And so we had some different perspectives from companies that we also assessed that show us really leading practices on how they're investing in the region, such as Axen, Hiveg, Advanta, Bayer, East West, Syngenta. And we also had some of the seed associations that really show good examples. Like I said, India, Thailand, they're attracting really great investments. So we want to learn from those ones. And also the International Seed Federation was facilitating this discussion. Quickly, I'll take you through the outcomes of these discussions. And some of them definitely I think we were discussed already through here, but to the first one, which was like really important, is to make sure that we are including smallholder farmers in the stakeholder discussions. For example, this also Congress, like really they need to be a very strong voice of farmers and smallholder farmers to tell us also what do they need and what do they want. And then in those activities also be able to identify best practices. And again, one of the things that companies that said that they define as enabling environment for them is making sure that farmers have this entrepreneurial skills to help them advance. There was like discussions around also jobs for farmers, especially women and next generations that should be included more, and then also working with academia. So this was one of the part of making sure that we're including farmers more. And then when it comes to also how we are using our research, this is something that again, everybody, the stakeholders emphasized on, was to use evidence-based have evidence-based dialogues. And this is to make sure that we are getting data and perspectives on positive impacts that we see and collaborations. And some of the important topics were food production, increasing farmer yield and income, technology transfer. And then also, as we're learning about the enabling environment, we need to also assess what is this impacting? What are the results coming out of these discussions? And then finally, we also talked about partnerships heavily, which is something that came in here. And one of those partnerships needs to be starting definitely at a high level, where the seed sector needs to be reminded that, although we're at the start of the food value chain, we are part of the entire chain, and we need to be part of the dialogues across the entire chain and the ecosystem. And then we also need to be strengthening national seed associations. And we've had really good examples also from like Thailand and the people who represented today. And again, this was like a good example of what was presented by the Thailand Seed Association on like some of the standards and how they're improving international movement of seed, even just like having quality seeds, like be able to promote these discussions. And then finally, being part of the alliances that bring everyone together instead of starting something new or doing something really additional. Let's work together within groups. So this is what we discussed, and we hope this can be used by different stakeholders and also take impact something next step. On our side, we are working, as I mentioned, with different stakeholders to make sure that our work is reaching and changing the world for better. And yeah, we hope you can use our work and join us as well. Thank you. Feel free to contact us. I'm here with my colleague Ati, and thank you. This is what I wanted to share.
So, thank you very much, Alice. Yeah, a round of applause for her. Is there any question from the floor? But I'd just like to say thank you. It was very insightful, Alice, and thank you for explaining to us, how to make better use of the information, of the data that the access to seeds index has actually generated. So thank you very much. I see no hand raised. Thank you. Okay, so we come to the end of this session, but before that, I would really like to invite my co-chair, Dr. Sumitra Kantrong. She's also a member of the Standing Committee for International Trade and Quarantine, to give us a brief wrap-up and her closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. It was very nice to have great presenter over here. And I would like to give you a short wrap-up what we had presentation from the first gentleman, Kun Patipon from BOI. He presented a very high benefit investment opportunity in Thailand with a very nice video and gave the background of Thai economic like the growth and the opportunity in each area. And then with the strategic location of Thailand, it was very strong strategy for Thailand to offer a lot of benefit to investor. Especially he mentioned regarding the benefit of BOI investment incentive scheme, especially with various kind of attractive in his presentation. And then the BCG for sustainable development was mentioned. And I like the most was the wealthy visa policy, which attract the wealthy investor to have coming to Thailand and doing their business with a very special treatment. And then the one-stop service center was mentioned, especially at the final of his presentation. He mentioned the e-service form system for BOI. So that was a great offer from BOI of Thailand to investor from abroad. And coming to the next presenter, Mr. Chaisak, who's actually he's on hand on the e-FITO of Thailand, and then he's the one who worked out with it from the beginning, and then he showed us how ePhyto project in Thailand was started, and actually we already had started with them, and then with the workshop and with the training with the Thai company using the ePhyto system. And then he let us know that he has a very nice strategic partner like GIS, and then some international partner to work with. And then the progress of both with native and international developer was in his plan. And then the link between ePhyto and the lab accreditation system and how it works with the ePhyto was explained very nicely. So it was very great progress of like the DG mentioned in this morning, and as well as what our presenter Kun Chai Sak has mentioned. And coming to Rose online, it was very unfortunate that she canceled her flight. And then but lucky enough, we can hear her voice, and she let us know the seed health activity of ISF and the ISPM 38 training guideline was introduced. And then we know, many of us know that ISF have worked out with the regulated pest list. And then ISF and as well as us, APSA, we encourage in PPOs to eliminate the disease, which is seed is not the pathway. It's very important for our seed business. And then the ECH, the initiative of ISF was share, especially the best practice, the practical alternative, and how the member work out with how to develop protocol and how they having the standard system on hand. And then there are several workshops offering from ISF, especially from this seed health team working out. And finally, the very hard work from Rose, from ISF as well, the system approach was presented, and then the progress and the solution was offered as well. And I believe that several countries of us will accept it, and then we see some progress over here. And next, Dr. Shivendra has explained regarding the SCDF project, and he explained how the facility was formed, and then the founder, who's the founder and who's the member, and how 7 countries has been the member. And then there are various, there is very diverse among the member, but we are going to work closely. And phytosanitary, the SCITQ has been working very actively with the NPPOs together. And then Dr. Shivendra had mentioned that we need assessment plan, and I think it's comes to our job. Me and Mr. Ms. Share has discussed that we need to prepare several results, and next plan we need to see what is the assessment plan for the output. You have 4 output. We need to keep it in mind. And then Sabok was mentioned regarding the plant breeding innovation from ISF, as Share has mentioned that he has updated us several years, and we see a lot of progress. And regarding the gene editing, and of course, we don't forget the traditional breeding that has mentioned, and it's very classical for our business. And I love traditional as well as the gene editing. And then I think ISF has very nice approach for current and future focus policy on the breeding innovation. Yes. And then coming to our lady, Alice has come from a long way. Let us know how our bench marking alliance has worked out. And we had some workshop before, and she worked very hard. I believe she worked very hard on the information and let us know that what is the output of World Benchmark Alliance. And you can follow her website, and you see a lot of information and very informative. And I think it will be very nice for us to understand how the World Benchmark Alliance work out with the private sector, and then they try to bridging the gap between private sector and smallholder farming. And then we see a lot of information regarding the seed index company performance as like in each area, like Southeast Asia, South Asia, Africa, and then you see the number of company and the number of the company that work out with focusing on seed production, focusing on breeding program, and the seed processing. Like we are in integrated company. And then the nice idea which I like the most was the round table plan between company and the seed association in her list. I think it would be like useful and narrowing the gap. And we could discuss what's the further information and which benefit to all of us. So I think I make a very short one, but informative. So I think it's the time that I here would like to close the ASC ITQ session, and thank you audience very much for your attention.
Thank you, and please stay put for the next session. Yeah, but may we invite our resource persons to please come up on stage and receive some tokens of appreciation from APSA.
Yes, may I invite Mr. Patipon to be on the stage, please, followed by Mr. Chaisak, Dr. Shivendra Bajao, Dr. Sabot Rudner, Miss Alice Inkabire, and Miss Arti Misal. So for the presentation of World Benchmarking Alliance, although Miss Alice, she's the presenter, but it's actually the work of the two ladies. Please. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. We will have 10 minutes break and we will come back on the next session of special interest groups on vegetables and ornamental. So we'll come back at 4 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone.